in the heart of a lush, green jungle, where sunlight dappled through giant leaves and colorful flowers bloomed all year round, lived a little lion cub named Simba. Now, this wasn't the Simba you might know from the movies. This Simba had a fluffy mane that was more like a dandelion puff, big curious eyes the color of amber, and a tiny roar that sounded more like a squeak. Simba loved adventures more than anything. Every morning, he'd wake up with a wiggle and a stretch, ready to explore the wonders of his jungle home. He'd chase butterflies with wings like stained glass, try to race speedy little lizards up tree trunks, and practice his pounce on fallen leaves, pretending they were fearsome beasts. His best friend was a clever little monkey named Zippy, who could swing from vine to vine faster than you can say banana. One sunny afternoon, Simba was playing his favorite game, hide and seek with Zippy. Zippy, being the expert climber he was, had found the perfect hiding spot high up in the giant banyan tree. Simba, with his nose to the ground, sniffed for Zippy's trail. He sniffed past the sweet-smelling jasmine flowers, past the earthy scent of damp moss, and past a patch of wild berries that made his tummy rumble. "I'm going to find you, Zippy," Simba called out, his voice echoing softly through the trees. He followed a faint, nutty scent, which he knew was from the mango Zippy had been eating earlier. The trail led him deeper into a part of the jungle he hadn't explored before. The trees here were older and taller, their branches creating a thick canopy that made the world below seem hushed and mysterious. Simba was so focused on finding his friend that he didn't notice how quiet it had become. The usual chirping of birds and buzzing of insects had faded away. All he could hear was the rustle of his own paws on the forest floor. He took another step, his little nose twitching. The mango scent was getting stronger. He must be close. He peered around a huge, moss-covered boulder. No Zippy. He looked inside a hollow log big enough to be a tunnel. No Zippy. Simba murmured to himself, tapping a paw on his chin. Where could he be? Just as he was about to call out again, he heard it, a sound that made the fur on his neck stand up straight. It started as a low rumble, a deep vibration that he could feel in his paws. It grew louder and louder, until it became a mighty roar that shook the very leaves on the trees. Roar! Simba's heart jumped into his throat. That was the biggest roar he had ever heard. It was much bigger than his dad's roar, bigger than any lion's roar he knew. It sounded ancient and powerful, like the jungle itself was shouting. He crouched low to the ground, his amber eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. He was a brave cub, but that was a seriously big roar. Slowly, carefully, he peeked around the boulder again, expecting to see a giant lion, or maybe a grumpy tiger, or perhaps even a legendary beast from the stories his mother told him at bedtime. But there was nothing, just the still, silent jungle. Simba took a deep, shaky breath. Maybe it was just his imagination. He was about to stand up when he heard it again, this time from behind him. Roar! It was closer now, so close that it felt like it was right behind his ears. Simba froze. He didn't dare turn around. He squeezed his eyes shut, bracing himself. He pictured giant claws and sharp teeth, but nothing happened. There was no pounce, no growl, no hot breath on his neck. Finally, his curiosity got the better of his fear. He had to see what was making that noise. Taking the bravest breath a little lion cub could take, he slowly, inch by tiny inch, turned his head. and what he saw made his jaw drop. It wasn't an animal. It wasn't a beast or a monster. It was a waterfall, a magnificent, thundering waterfall, bigger and wider than anything he had ever imagined. Water cascaded down a massive cliff face, crashing into a crystal-clear pool below. The roar wasn't from a throat. It was the sound of millions of gallons of water falling and smashing against the rocks. The roar was the voice of the river. Simba blinked. He had never seen anything so beautiful and powerful. The mist from the waterfall felt cool on his face, and rainbows danced in the spray where the sunlight hit the water. He took a step closer, then another, his fear completely forgotten and replaced by awe. "Wow!" he whispered. Suddenly, a familiar chatter came from above. "Took you long enough." Simba looked up, and there, perched on a branch overlooking the waterfall, was Zippy, munching on another mango. "Zippy, you found this place?" Simba exclaimed, trotting over to the edge of the pool. "Found it. I grew up here," Zippy chattered, scampering down the tree. "This is the Whispering Falls, or as you heard, the Roaring Falls. Isn't it the best?" Simba couldn't agree more. He dipped a paw into the cool water of the pool. It was refreshing. "The roar, I thought it was a monster," he admitted, feeling a little silly. Zippy laughed, a cheerful sound that mixed with the thunder of the water. "The only monster here is the one who tries to drink all the berry juice," he joked, pointing a tiny finger at Simba. Simba splashed a bit of water at Zippy, and soon the two friends were playing a brand new game, chasing each other around the edge of the pool, their happy shouts and laughter joining the mighty roar of the waterfall. Simba realized that the scariest sounds can sometimes lead to the most wonderful discoveries. The jungle was full of surprises, and he couldn't wait to find the next one. From that day on, the Roaring Falls became Simba and Zippy's secret spot. They'd go there whenever they wanted a real adventure. Simba even tried to roar along with the waterfall. He'd stand on a rock, take a deep breath, and let out his mightiest squeak. "Roar!" he'd try, sounding more like a kitten. The waterfall would answer with its powerful, thundering voice. "Roar!" Zippy would roll on the ground, laughing. But Simba didn't mind. He knew that one day, his roar would be just as big and strong. For now, he was happy just to be a little cub with a great big friend and an even bigger, roaring waterfall to share his secrets with. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Simba and Zippy lay on a warm, flat rock, watching the water sparkle. "Zippy," Simba said softly, his voice barely a whisper against the constant roar. "Do you think there are other secret places like this in the jungle?" Zippy finished his last bite of mango and grinned. "Simba," he said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "We've only just begun." Simba smiled. He knew his friend was right. Adventure was everywhere, sometimes hiding in plain sight, and sometimes it was just behind you, roaring like a monster but turning out to be something beautiful. As he drifted off to a gentle nap, lulled by the sound of the falls, he dreamed of all the new roars and wonders the jungle still held for him to discover. And he knew, with Zippy by his side, he was ready for every single one. Thanks for watching our story today. If you loved Simba and Zippy's adventure, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more fun tales from the jungle. See you next time.